Welcome to the Waggle Room. When honeybees return to the hive, they perform a waggle dance, not to give answers, but to share signals, direction, distance, quality and possibility. Many dances can happen at once, different options, different signals, all moving through the colony together. Over time, patterns form, attention shifts, some signals fade, others gather momentum, and a way forward begins to emerge. Humans do this too, in groups, communities, in moments of uncertainty, long before anything feels clear or settled. The Waggle Room is a space to notice those signals, explore the systems they sit within, and make sense of what's emerging. Signals, systems, sense-making.
Morning, everyone. We're here again in the Waggle Room, looking at the signals, systems, and a bit of sense-making. And today, I'm really excited. We've got Marcus with us discussing everything critical thinking, problem solving, leadership behavior. So this is nothing about slogans or strategy decks, or we want to actually see what's taking place in organizations. And I can't think of anyone better to do that than with Marcus. So Marcus spends a lot of his time working with leadership teams, helping them try and apply critical thinking and improve how their teams work, practice adaptive leadership, and when things are complex and uncertain. He's the founder of Effective Direction. He's going to explain this in a bit more detail, but his focus is really about the performance. How do you put this stuff into practice? What sort of real behaviors, real decision making do you have to come to? So, Marcus, mate, welcome to the Waggle. Give us a bit of background on how you got here.
Mick, it's a pleasure to be here. How I got here? I don't know. How did we first meet? Did you stumble across me on LinkedIn and then
I think
it's the Mayflower Academy, was it?
It's the love-hate relationship with LinkedIn, isn't it? It's amazing.
I think it is, isn't it? I was watching your podcast with Paul Sweeney, and I think it's like these heretics. We sort of congregate and find each other, don't we? Because we're feeling isolated. Like, is it only me seeing all this, or are others out there? And then you meet good people like yourself and Paul and Nigel, you've mentioned, and Delia, and it gives you sort of reassurance that there are people out there seeing these issues, but also trying to do something about it, which is what we're all about at Effective Direction and what I've been about pretty much for all my life. So my background, 20 plus years in the Royal Air Force, like yourself, veteran, joined straight out of school, had a great time, but was always the outlier. Always the black sheep, always the impolite dick in the room, asking all the hard questions. Because to me, it never really mattered what rank you were. If you weren't talking sense, if you weren't thinking, then it was my duty as well as an officer, even as a junior officer. I remember I was once called a social gadfly, and I didn't even know what a gadfly was back then, but a gadfly is like from Socrates, the horsefly that goes around biting and annoying people. And I remember telling my boss, I said, look, it's my duty. I'm an officer. It's my duty, whatever rank I am, to see things, to call things out. If there's a better way of doing it, if there's a dangerous way to be preventing that happening. So I took that through my career, realized that whatever the process is, whatever technology we have, we still have to focus on people. They are the heart of every organization. They are the engine of your unit, your team, your squadron, whatever. And if you disregard those individuals, you're going to have a lot of problems. So Effective Direction is really putting people back at the heart of your organization. We say we are here to unleash your people, because I see every individual as a dormant superhero. We were all superheroes as kids. Everybody's ran around their mum and dad's garden wearing the tea towel and goggles, pretending to be Superman, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, whatever. And that individual hasn't gone away. It's still within that person, but it's been what I call forced to be quiet by the conformity conveyor belt. You know what this is? It starts in school and it goes through school, high school, university, the workplace. Get on the conveyor belt, conform, do it this way, don't challenge. And if we don't challenge, we get a lot of problems because problems go unseen, opportunities go missed. So our whole premise is to go into organizations, help them see those things that they're missing, those blind spots, understand why they're not able to be that superhero, and then basically Avengers assemble and we unleash them to go and do great things together. That's my sort of rapid journey in a short time. I spent a bit of time as a consultant. I think, as you know, we don't like them very much, of the big consultancy word. Consultancy rather than consulting, two very different things. And I think a lot of us are trying to do a lot of the undamaging effect that's been caused over the years by those big consultancies selling, as you talked about, selling theory, selling good ideas off the shelf, selling the cookie cutter model that we know doesn't cut it anymore. So we're here to bring a new way of thinking, to support new ways of working, and engage people at the heart of the organization where they should be.
Yeah, it resonates across all the conversations I've been having on the podcast and just in normal life. I think I said to you when we had a little discussion a few days ago, someone came up to me and asked me if someone's coming into change, whatever change is, what courses do we need to put them on? Straight away, my comeback was, no, let's improve their critical thinking, problem solving, how they look at things. I saw something the other day. I think it was Scrum. I put it on LinkedIn. Scrum Inc. now have got a Scrum Inc. AI course.
They've
and
all got it.
about,
I just got one this morning, psm.ai from scrum.org. So Scrum Inc. do
right,
something, Scrum.org.
blimey.
It's this inter-competition, isn't it, between the two guys basically selling snake oil, let's be honest.
Yeah. I think the thing I put on there was, look, okay, this stuff fine, but with a free ChatGPT account and a bit of curiosity, you can learn an awful lot. You'll probably learn everything that's on that. And funny old thing, you'll be able to make your own digital badge as well. So
exactly, shiny.
Yeah, so the whole critical thinking, the whole history around that. Did you go back and sort of look at all that from like Socrates and things? And when you started,
when you look at our website, when you look at all our presentations, Socrates is our great granddaddy. He is our mascot. Our company group is Socraticus. That's our Cyprus company. I've been to see him in Athens several times, done the history, and absolutely, and it all roots back to the old wise guy sat in the market square, talking to people, challenging people. And as we're seeing today, the heretic that he became dying because of it. So he was taken to task by the local government because they thought he was causing an uprising amongst the youth who were challenging more what the government was doing. And he was ultimately sentenced to death. And he had the opportunity to be broken out by his colleagues and friends, and he didn't. So he drank the poisoned hemlock and died an almost martyr. But I think that was the kickstarter to Western philosophy and understanding. As he said, I am, yes, indeed, the wisest man in Athens, for I alone know that I know nothing. And I think and I found this as I've got older, I'm sure you have, the more I learn, the less I know.
Yeah.
And realize that I know, because the world is so expansive, the speed with which we're now moving through the world, it's almost impossible to keep up. And you need support, you need special tools and techniques, you need people around you to move forward as one effectively, because all of these old school super CEOs who thought they could do it themselves, the C-suite who think they can handle this, you can't. You need your collective organization of people unleashed, thinking, challenging, using the Socratic method of getting better answers, getting better decisions by asking better questions. But the problem is, people don't like to be asked questions because they see it as a threat, and therefore people don't ask questions, and that leads to the silence that we're seeing, and we'll discuss a lot more today.
Well, the thing about, Socrates, and you think how long back in history that was, right? I was speaking to Jones, and it's like this almost amnesia. So we all this stuff in some way, shape or form has probably been thought about in the past. We've forgotten about the history of it all, and then we try to reassemble it all in another way. But we can't even in an organization, almost like the corporate amnesia in an organization, like lasts a year or something. And then something that's gone well, everyone's forgotten about, and they try to do it differently. And something that's gone badly, everyone tries to make dots to make it look like it went well in the past. And it's
all's well, nothing to see here. Move along. Everything's green.
Yeah, you see it everywhere. It's just the weirdest thing.
I know. It's madness, absolute madness. But the ostrich effect, we call that, where the heads are in the sand. It's all good and well because it's nice and warm down there. It's a little bit dark. You don't see what's coming. You don't see what's going on. But while your head's in the sand, where's your ass? Up in the air, and it's getting kicked. That's the problem. The complex environment we're now operating in, you can't afford to have what we call willful blindness. That ostrich effect, you can't ignore these things. You can't, don't worry, we'll batten down the hatches. It'll be all right when we sail out the other side. You won't. Because of the nature of the landscape we're operating in, you have to engage, you have to seek opportunities, eliminate threats, and you're not going to do that with your head in the sand or not by employing the effective people that you have, who you've recruited to do that, surely.
Yeah, I know one of the things we wanted to go into in a bit more detail is almost this. You've done a lot of research on this. Is this like disengagement almost hiding in plain sight within organisations?
Yeah, absolutely. I discovered the Gallup workplace or workforce engagement reports a few years ago, and I've been following them ever since. And I've got some data here which I'll share with you so we can put up on the screens for later. But this started post the 2008 financial crash, and they've been tracking workforce engagement since then throughout the year. And if we think it's bad today, back in 2009, it was at 12%. So that means 12% of people or 12% of your workforce were engaged. It's not 12% disengaged, 12% were engaged. That means 88% of the people were coming to work disengaged in the activities. And that went up slowly, percentage by year on year, reaching 22%, which is still shocking, by 2019. Funny old thing, in 2020, COVID came and it dropped to 20%. Since then, it's gone up 21, 23. 2022 and 2023, we had 2 years of 23%. Wow. People online go, it's great, it's up. I'm like, why are we celebrating what is a shockingly bad statistic? And what's really interesting, it's now dropped. So in the last year, that climb hasn't continued. We've now dropped again back down to 21%, which is absolutely shocking. And when you think about it, I'll just break it down. 21% are engaged. 62% are not engaged. Check this one out. 17% are actively disengaged, which means they are actively sabotaging the business.
Yeah.
So people are getting up in the morning, going to work, and actively going out of their way to disengage from the workforce and potentially sabotage it. That's shocking. And do you want to hear something more shocking? Globally, there's 10 regions across the globe. Who's at number one, do you think? The number one is the United States and Canada.
Interesting.
Up at 31%, and that's dropped from last year. And we work with a lot with the States. I've been out in the States twice in the last 2 months. And when I told the States clients out there about this, they were like, that's just delusion on our part. But interestingly, guess who's the lowest? Guess who's in at number 10?
Oh, don't tell us. Don't tell us it's
Europe.
the UK.
No, Europe. Well, no, okay.
Yeah, well, it's in there.
Europe at 13%. And the lowest within Europe, you said it, the UK, 10%.
Blimey.
The UK has workforce engagement of 10%. What the hell? I mean, this is shocking statistics. And when you go into it, when you look at, and everyone's, when we talk about this, talk to the leaders and managers of, bloody workforce, employees, they're not coming to work, they're not working hard, they're not engaged. The decline from last year to this year has been in management. So
Really?
We're now seeing actual management themselves disengaging for a myriad of reasons, for what we're seeing, for the amount of pressure that's on them. But also, we know that the lack of training in commercial, we're both military. One of the biggest things I was staggered by when I joined the commercial world is the lack of leadership and management training.
Yeah.
And what there is, oh my God, it's almost worthless. Some of it is deemed ineffective. It adds negative impact to the people you train. So what we're seeing, and the reports say it all here, management engagement fell from 30% to 20%, 27%. And the reason why this has been is that they are deemed to not have the training required to allow them to be effective managers. So you're taking a great sales guy. Awesome. You've hit your targets. You're smashing it. We're going to make you a sales team manager. So you take Mick, who's awesome at doing his job, and you stick him in charge of 20 people. You give him direct reports. You give him targets to hit. He's not selling anymore. He's managing sellers. But you don't train Mick. You don't give Mick the confidence, the coaching, the support to do what he does. And we had a client last year who promoted 12 of their individuals, their top marketeers, called me after 6 months and said, Marcus, we've had 6 of them quit. And I said, I know why. They said, can you do some exit interviews for us? I said, absolutely. but I'll tell you why. If I won't tell you why, I'm going to write it in an envelope. Why? And then after I've done the interviews, and I did it with him there, and then afterwards I said, right, when I've done the interviews, I'll debrief with you and I'll show you what my envelope says, and we'll see what they've all said. And the number one thing they all said was, we got dropped off a cliff.
Yeah.
No support, given all the high targets, and then battered every quarter. And they say, I took 2 quarters of a beating because I wasn't hitting my targets. I was drowning. I was stressed at home. It was affecting my health, my life, my family. So I've quit and gone somewhere else, back to my day job, being a great marketeer. Madness, absolute madness. So why are people not investing, or why are organizations not investing in their people? Remember years ago, IIP, Investors in People.
Oh yeah, Investors
Remember
in
that?
People, yeah.
Another wanky trophy, like Great Place to Work, Investors in People. I remember it was on the back of the toilet door in one of the RF camps I was on. What a load of crap. You just don't, again, it's another buzzword BS that we see. Oh, we've got investors in people. So tell me about the investment you've done in your people. And I don't mean you brought fresh fruit on a Friday in your coffee machine. What are you actually investing in the development of your people? Doesn't exist. And the top 3 reasons, everyone thinks they're disengaged because it's a lack of money. It's not. Money's number 3. The number 1 reason people are disengaged is lack of personal and professional development in the workplace. Number 2 is the lack of trust and responsibility to do what they're capable of doing. And then number 3, it's money. But all the chat, all the belief of the executive is that, oh, they just want more money. Child, we can't afford that. So cut headcount, reduce bonuses. It's not that. It's the little things. If you just give somebody the personal, professional development, a career roadmap, that will increase their engagement by literally 50%.
There's lots of things to unpack in there.
I know.
Lots of companies do all these well-being initiatives and stuff, right? If the things that companies were doing from a well-being perspective were so amazing and so good, you would think that the statistics would be going in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
They're obviously not. So I could be wrong. I would say a lot of what goes on in that space from an organization perspective is quite performative. Is probably the word I would use.
Seen to be doing something that's highly visible. Like, as I mentioned, the fresh fruit basket on a Thursday morning. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Seriously. I had another one. We bring puppies into work on Friday afternoon so you can sit and play with a puppy for an hour to calm your stress. You can't make this shit up, mate. You cannot make it up. But it's HR being seen to be doing something and it looks great and it's all good fun. I'm not saying stroking puppies and eating bananas isn't fun and great, but it doesn't get to the underlying problem, because when you come back in Monday morning, you're getting the same level of shit. You've got the same lack of personal, professional development, and the boss is still breathing down your neck to get the numbers, to get the targets. And that, what I call the cosh of speed, is coming down on you. And therefore you're back into double busy mode and everybody's too busy to stop and think. The puppies are a historical thought from Friday, and you're desperate to get your banana on Thursday coming. And that's it. That's the problem. As you said, it's all performative. And if you want true change, you talked about it earlier, we're all trying to adapt to change. We need to stop doing that. We need to change to be adaptive. That's the big thing. When we talk about transformation, digital transformation, agile transformation, AI, blah, 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 0. All we're doing for transformation is transforming people. We, as humans, have to transform to be adaptive in today's crazy, complex, chaotic world. It's Darwin 101, whether he said it or not. It's not the smartest, fastest, best looking. It's those who are most adaptive to change that will survive. And we're all panicking, as you said. We're all running out to get a ProSci qualification, a Scrum certification. And that person then becomes even less adaptive, because they're then taking their little, Agile manifesto or the Scrum guide, but this is how we do it. Well, that's not very adaptive, is it? That's very rigorous within a process step through state of affairs to deliver an outcome, rather than being resilient, flexible, adaptive, thinking critically, thinking strategically, doing that in a very diverse group of people, bringing diversity of thought, which is what we need. Why is DEI dying? Talked about this the other day. DEI should be DIE, die, because it needs to. and it's become an IED. It's an improvised explosive device in organizations because, again, the performative outcome of that by HR is being seen to tick the boxes of what's seen to be necessary. Big D, lots of diversity. I've got 25% of these types of people, 5% of those, 10% of those. Again, whoop-de-fucking-do. How's your eye going on? What do you mean? Tell me about the inclusion in your workforce.
Yeah.
Minuscule. So you can have the most diverse workforce ever. It's performative. It's a tick box. You've made the CEO happy because you've met the criteria. We saw that in the RAF a couple of years ago. What a joke.
Yeah.
But if you've not got inclusion, if those people aren't able to speak up because they're all highly disengaged, what's the point? Absolute waste of great talent, great people from different backgrounds, different cultures, different experiences, different societies and sectors, all sat there in silence and not bringing together all that capability to allow fantastic outcomes and corrective challenge, positive and critical thinking to get the ultimate end game that the organization is looking for. It's not rocket science.
I think we're probably two people that will I'll be honest, the military has got its bad points, right? You can't pretend the military is the best thing since sliced bread.
Far from it.
But the thing with it, and it doesn't matter what service you join, and you don't realize it at the time. When you join up, I look back and think what you don't realize is you're swimming in almost like leadership being put into practice around you all the time. And it's not necessarily, it's talked about, but it's not sort of rammed down your throat or anything like that. It's done throughout your whole career. And it goes back to that point you're making, somebody's good at a technical job, they get promoted. How on earth did the organizations get those people to actually put this stuff into practice? It's got to be difficult.
Very difficult. And as you said, I think we learn by osmosis in the military because you see it around you. You learn by structured career development. You have a roadmap. Every promotion, you get a set of training, a set of skills required to help you be that next level of capability. And I think one of the things one of our biggest client bases now is family businesses, because they're families. They've adopted a organization, a wealth without being trained. It's almost like a birthright. I've got this thing. Help. I'm not a leader. I'm not a CEO. So helping those individuals run a company, lead people. And also we do a lot of work now with founder companies, startup to scale ups. Because again, you and I, a couple of wizards in the garage, building cool tech, right? We're amazing at doing that. And then we bring a few more guys in and we increase our company to 10 of us. Then we're doing really well. We make some money. We get 50 of us in. That's a whole different shift. Every time you triple the numbers from 3 to 9 to 27, etc., you have to fully start again and re-understand and reorganize how you're structured. So a lot of the work we also do now is going in and either being the fractional CEO, COO alongside the founder to help them move away from being the tech head, product expert into being the leader of the company, helping them set up a company. What does a company structure look like? How does that do? But then also the more important thing is how do you now lead those people and how do you extract yourself away from the coalface where you love to tinker? And we see this all the time. In the military, we call it the long screwdriver. When you're uncomfortable, when you're feeling nervous as a leader, what do? You get back down in the weeds and you start to micromanage. You upset everybody there because what are you doing? Get back upstairs and solve the problems that are causing us issues.
Yeah.
So helping the founders in startups is something we're really focused on now because they fail. There's nothing worse than growing astronomically. And we see these great, super small, capable organizations start, and then within 2 years, they disappear. They fizzle out. It's not that they're incompetent. It's not that they're bad products. It's that they fail to scale and bring the appropriate skills, people skills, management skills, leadership skills into the organization, into themselves, to become that leader and CEO versus the founder and tech head. And the whole thing that starts with, for me, is what we call self-awareness and reflection. And that is so lacking. And then when you move into the big organizations, we know that many of the organizational leadership have got there through competence in their role. They're promoted because of that. We see nepotism. We see affinity bias where like promotes like.
Yeah.
And there's a great book called The Peter Principle. It's been around since 1962. You are promoted to your level of incompetence. And you get this whole circle of people, hence why we've got imposter syndrome. And I'll tell you now, the majority of executives we work with, 9 out of 10 are struggling with imposter syndrome. They're wondering, how the hell did I get here? Yes, I'm good at my job, but I'm now in charge of 100, 1,000, 5,000 people. And I've not a clue how to do that. I've not been trained. I've not been upskilled. And most of that coaching initially is just helping them realize that that's okay. Recognition of that is a great thing. And we are here to help you. And the best way to get help is to enable your people to help you. I'm not here forever. I'm like Nanny McPhee. I'm going to help you. You're going to want me. But by the time I go, you're going to need me to stay, but that's not going to happen. The people you then need to help is those who can help you. So as a leader, cascade that capability and awareness down, and it will come back up tenfold.
What do you think the cost of missing these things is for organisations and people?
My God, let me give you that. I actually, this is going to make your eyes water. Low employee engagement and disengagement aren't just morale problems. They have huge economic impacts on business performance. Check this out. Global costs. Low employee engagement, most of the world's workforce being disengaged or not engaged, is costing the global economy around 8.8 to 9.6 trillion annually, roughly 9% of global GDP. The latest engagement, a drop in engagement levels, last year alone cost the world 438 billion in lost productivity. So that 2% drop last year, 438 billion. So organizations talk about, efficiency, continuous improvement. And what they're doing with that is they're looking outside. They're looking at AI. Saw the great discussion you had with Paul on that. This silver bullet, the shiny, I call it the magpie effect. Oh, what's the latest shiny thing? Delete digital, insert agile, delete agile, insert AI, delete whatever you want to call it, nonsense. And instead of focusing on what is actually the most efficient and effective thing you have in your organization, it's your people. And disengagement rules show it. When we work with organizations, average, as we say, we're looking at low 20%. Organizations we work with, they are leaping 50% after an engagement. So you're pushing that up into the 70s. Apple and Google did a study a few years ago, and they said every 1% increase in engagement equals 1% increase in ROI. So if I walk into a client and go, right, your engagement scores are 21%, how would you like to increase ROI by 50%? They'll bite your arm off. And it's not an issue. You can make it 10% in a day by just doing certain things that are going to get your people back on the engagement ladder and climbing it themselves. And that's the thing. You've got to enable them to do this themselves. It's their transformation. It's those people that are then adaptive and are allowed to be. And this is why you see so much frustration from veterans. Again, you just go on the LinkedIn chat. These individuals, these great women and men, leave the military, uber skilled, uber adaptive, flexible, resilient. They're the best people you could want in your workforce. And they get into these organizations. And I had this in my consultancy that I went into. I may as well just been handcuffed. It was like, we should do, no, be quiet. But what about, be quiet? No, it's not. That's not how we do it here, Mark. Right, okay. I didn't last very long there. But you can see this is the same frustration in the workforce. Nobody gets out of bed in the morning and goes to work and go, I'm going to be a real dick today. I'm going to do the worst job I can. Everybody gets up ultimately and goes, I want to go to work today. I want to do good work. I want to have a great time with my colleagues. I want to have some fun and camaraderie. I want to be able to come home and tell my partner, my kids, my parents at the weekend, guess what I did this week? People want that. It's a natural human reaction to be proud, to be engaged. But everything we're talking about is bringing this compression down on top of that to go, I don't even want to get out.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Big problem.
Like you say, people want to get up, do a good job. They want to have a bit of fun.
Not allowed.
Well, that's what I was.
Stop the fun.
I spoke to a guy called Mark Green, and he's great. He runs a company called Change Rebellion, and he's fantastic on LinkedIn because he uses a lot of humour. I said to him, where is that gone? I mean, it's the good old squaddy humour, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not allowed, mate. It's not allowed in case you offend somebody.
Yeah,
You know, shocking.
it's really difficult. How do we bring that
It's
back, do
humour
you
in that
think?
I think it's happening. We're seeing the demise of DEI. We're seeing common sense begin to return into the world. Thankfully, it's been too long. I've got 3 rules, and my rule number 3 is have fun. You know, so everything I do, and it's one of the things why our clients love us. We have a great time when we show up and we're engaging with them. We're working, whatever it is we're doing, training, working, facilitating, hands on the shop floor. We just have a lot of fun with them. You know, and as you get to know the characters and you get to see the levels of engagement, you can have a bit of a laugh, you can poke fun, you can take the piss, as we will, you know, and especially when we're working with Americans, the old British and American humor over the different languages. It's just great. And you can almost see the room going, is this okay? Can we do this?
Yeah.
And then when the boss joins in and getting the leadership on board is the key thing. You know, you get them to come in, drop that facade of senior, you know, stone-faced. Just relax, guys, because everyone's so freaking tense. That's what you realize when you go into these organizations. I mean, we did one recently. We did the first session online, 20 people, and you could sense that, and we knew what the team was like, and we could sense it. It was like, you almost feel sorry for it. It's like, oh, come on, this poor team. We know what you've been dealing with. And then when we went out to the US to meet them to do a live session, by the end of that session, the boss was like, I don't even recognize this lot. The engagement levels, the fun, the happiness, the joie de vivre, and people just getting stuck in. Nobody was quiet. Everybody was up with a pen and a Post-it note and wanting to have a say. And it was like, this is what a transformation. That was in 2 half-day sessions.
Yeah.
And it's almost, I think a lot of this is, as I said before, it's just dormant inside you. The superhero is dormant. The fun Mick is dormant, right? The character is dormant. Once they see that there is a capability allowing them to be themselves, to be outward, and the permission is granted from the top, and they start to see the behaviors themselves in their leadership, then they will start to come out from under that stone that they've been hiding under. And the difference, once you get levity in the workplace, efficiency will increase. Once you get a bit of a laugh, fun, camaraderie, performance will increase. This is what makes the military so good. And we always talk about the dark humor in the military. You know, you're getting shot at, stuff's going off all around you, and you're taking the piss out of each other.
Yeah.
You're having a laugh and like, oh, dude, that was a bit harsh. Was it? Suck it up, buttercup. You know, let's go. And that gets people through the hard times. And when you've got the level of disengagement in the workplace, it's amazing what a bit of levity does. And also what a bit of a small thank you can do. It's little things, it's like we say, don't we? It's the little things in life that mean a lot. Thanks for that work you did today. It was excellent. What? Wow, thank you. That's nice to hear. Hey guys, let's stack at lunchtime tomorrow and go and have a team session. We're still going to do work, but we're going to be out in the local pub, go for a walk in the park. But it's just a bit of a thank you for the effort you put in this week. Costs you nothing.
Yeah.
Costs nothing. But you've got to, as a leader, you've got to move away from that. We have to be seen to be doing things. We have to be busy. Because if I'm not seen to be busy, my boss is going to pick me up. If you can turn around and go, yes, we did go out for the afternoon and we spent the 3 hours discussing issues in the workplace. We came in on Monday. We fixed them together, and that increased our efficiency. So you've got to do all this by showing the data, right? Yeah, if you're off in the pub every lunchtime and you're getting nowhere and the results are going through the floor, you might find yourself getting fired. But, and I've done this in many organizations. I've worked in Lloyd's for 4 years, and we were seen as like, you know, the rebellion group. We had 240 of us eventually, and everyone looked at us like the wild cards. We had audit come in. Never forget this. 2 ladies turned up for audit. They had their preconceived ideas. Lovely ladies until they opened their mouth. It's hilarious. She's like, hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm so-and-so. I said, Marcus, here's what we're doing here. She goes, yeah, I've heard it's the wild fucking West in this place. I was like, oh, we are so going to get on. And by the end of it, they were sending organizations across the business to come to us to see how it should be done. She's like, we were so blinkered in what our perception was of this.
Yeah.
And it's only when they spent literally a week with us. I shadowed them all week, putting them here, there, and everywhere. I said, look, just see how we do business. And they were like, wow. So again, it's that perspective that people take through very blinkered eyes versus the reality of what goes on. And we had the highest engagement scores, the highest output, the most effective products, happiest teams, least attrition, low absenteeism. And when it all broke down after it all finished and delivered, all of those people carried on working. I went to another bank and took 10 people with me. That group of people wanted to stay together because you know, it's like when you work in a tight-knit unit of people, engagement is through the roof. Happiness scores are through the roof. You don't want to get out of bed in the morning. You leap out of bed. You don't want to go home at the end of the day. So that extra mile that everybody, oh, I see you leaving at 5 o'clock today. Yeah, I am, boss. Why would I stay? I got picked up for being a minute late after my lunch. Really? You want me to give you back? Whereas these guys like, guys, can you go home? You know, and the boss used to make a point of leaving the office at 5:30 every night because, you know, if the boss is there till 7, everyone else stays till 7. And he's like, guys, do not stick around. If you want to leave at 5, you leave at 5. If you want to leave at 10, you leave at 10. That's on you. But there's no expectation. We are all doing this, though, because we love it. And we see the output and we see the outcomes of those outputs. And it was just a fantastic place to be. And it took me back to my military days when you get in that quality, tight-knit unit with a clear mission, clear goal, and good people who are, funny old thing, trained and skilled to do what's needed, and then unleashed to do that and not restrained with the handcuffs.
Yeah, the busyness thing you were saying there, because you know, I always have to bring up a bee story of some description. It's because it's a misconception about a beehive. Because when you look in it, it's they're really busy, and they're not actually busy. They're actually very focused on
Effective.
carrying out their task.
Correct.
From a nurse bee to a guard bee to a forager, they have all different things to do within their short lifespan, and yeah, they're doing something for a purpose. I think sometimes it's this busyness thing. How can we make ourselves look busy?
Correct. Rather than effective.
Yeah.
And organizations, even when the data doesn't tell them what they want, they don't recognize what the root cause is. They just apply more pressure. It's crazy, isn't it? Instead of going, okay, why are we not hitting those targets? Because everybody's busy, looking busy, rather than being busy on the right thing. And if you're busy on the right thing, you shouldn't be busy. You should just be doing the right thing. You should have clear prioritization, clear tasking, clear backlogs, clear understanding of who is doing what, where, and when, and how. All of this stuff is so simple. It's called most of the stuff we teach facepalm coaching, because we'll go into organization, we'll take the problem, we'll put it on the board, and we'll draw it all out, and we'll just go right here, 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 and people are just like, holy shit, how have we not seen this? This is just basic common sense of looking at who's doing what, where, when, why are we doing this? What does the customer want? What are we seeing in the market? What does the stakeholder want? What does the shareholder want? How are we doing this as a team? Do we have the skills? Have we got the tools, the techniques, the platforms? Simple questions. But when you start to ask them, you'll just see these almost embarrassed looks on the faces going, either we don't know or we do know and we don't know answer. Heads back in the sand again, butts in the air right for a kicking. So
Yeah.
it's I work with Jose Corella, who wrote the book. I'll get the plug in now. So Big Things Fast. Jose Corella was one of my clients many years ago. And then we wrote the book, Big Things Fast, together, all about red teaming, leadership in the workplace. And one of his great, great quotes, and I'm sure it's from someone else years ago, is, "This is simple. It's not easy."
Yeah.
It's so simple, Mick. It staggers me. And when we teach our tools and techniques, everyone just goes, "Oh, this is really simple." I'm like, I know it is. But how easy it is to implement this in your workplace, as is today. But it's impossible. And in the past, we used to do what we were called hit and run consultants. We'd come in, train a team up in red teaming skills, and we'd leave. Because you've got it now. Off you go. You don't need me. I'm the anti-consultant. I'm not going to stick around and charge you millions. You can do this. And then they call us back 6 months later. Hey guys, could you come in for a day and do some red team facilitation? I'm like, I could. Why would you want me to do that? You're more than capable. Doesn't work, mate. The environment doesn't allow us. Despite the training quality we've got, we haven't fixed the environment to allow effective challenge. People to stand up and really look at a problem effectively with a diverse group who aren't in the leadership or strategy team and come up with some recommendations. You know, it's like, oh, not invented here, or this is my baby. I don't need your input. So you see the impact of that. So this is why we now look more holistically at the leadership, the team dynamics, and the critical thinking capability. Because if you don't fix the leadership and the team dynamics, just upskilling people with critical thinking just means it's going to fail downrange. And therefore everyone gets frustrated.
I mean, we can't have a podcast these days with obviously speaking about AI. I've been working in that area for a few years now. I think it's fair to say that I'm a big user of it. I'm an advocate of it in the right context is the thing I would say. I don't think people necessarily know the context they're using it in. My worry, and I tagged Delia into this a few days ago, around what happens then when we don't give people the critical thinking, so they don't have the cognitive ability just from a day-to-day perspective, and then you layer AI on top of that. I mean, the downstream effect could be quite consequential, I think.
Catastrophic, I will predict. The data's all there already. This isn't like, hey, you and I are two doctors in the 60s smoking cigarettes because they're good for you and realizing 30 years later they're not. The whole impact of AI, forget AI. We've just seen the fact of tech, the impact of tech on people over the last decade. Children, especially, the future of our workforce. We're seeing a mass decline, and Delia's done so much work on the impact. But I think recently it just came out, Gen Z are the most stupid generation. Fact. And that's not being dismissive of Gen Z and taking the mickey out of them. That's showing that the cognitive capability through years of technical influence, through years of glued to your screen, is causing cognitive decline. And read Delia's latest post on Substack on this stuff, because she's got massive amounts of data and real insight into this. All AI is now doing is making that even worse. It used to be Google something to get a rough answer and then create your outcome. Now you're ChatGPTing it, Clauding it, and you're getting everything done for you. So your brain is now stupefying. It's not being used practically at all. You know, it might have to think about, what do I prompt to get the best solution? But the 95% of the work is now being done by AI. And what else have we seen? How good is that work? We've seen massive, again, great stuff. Consultancies screwing up in spades. Headline news, Deloitte, PwC. They're using AI and it's making stuff up. They're not even checking the validation of, they're not thinking. They're not validating the work it provides. It literally is cut, paste, done. And then obviously a smart person will challenge that and do the investigation and realize you just made half of that up, or AI did, because you failed to. So this is why I talk about catastrophic. I think 76% of AI program strategies last year failed because it's just not there yet. It's not capable, and nor should it be. And the whole thing we do, we've got one of our products is called AI Direction. Effective direction, AI direction. And we go into organizations and we've got a superb AI guy from Google. I've got another guy from Lebanon. We go in and we help organizations understand what they need. Just written here, 96% of boardrooms have AI as an agenda item. They're all talking about an AI strategy. There's no such thing as an AI strategy. A strategy is a long-term thing. AI is changing daily. We talked about last week about how what something could do a week ago can now do 1,000 things more than it could a week ago. So if your strategy is looking at 2027, 2028, you're obsolete. What we need to be doing is creating small, safe-to-fail experiments using different types of capability. And that's not just AI, it's all the different technical platforms that are out there. And then evolving and learning as we go. And this goes back to being, we have to be adaptive. We have to be transformative, resilient, flexible on a daily, weekly basis. Anybody planning quarters, half yearlies, yearlies, you're dead in the water. And one of the big things we teach here is, and I'm not dismissing AI. AI is fantastic. I use it every day. We teach it. We've got Chat ACT. We've got our own products. We help organizations understand it. But I say straight away, AI without CI will not work. And they're like, what's CI? I say, collective intelligence. That's your people coming together, applying their intelligence, of which they have vast amounts of, in a structured, critical thinking, trained way against the problem. And the solution might not always be AI. Shock horror. I know it's 100%. A silver bullet. I know it's the latest consultancy Alexia this week.
100%.
The bandwagon of AI is on there. But, and if you are going to use it, do the experiment. I'm chatting to a lovely lady called Naomi Walker at Lloyd's. They've been doing some fantastic work on AI, training it, testing it, throwing it away. Next. Yeah, You've got to have that mindset of experimentation. Not, again, I've seen this with another client that just laid off over 4,000 people because I think AI is going to do the job. They're going to call us back in a year and go, it kind of didn't work out, help. And I spoke again, you mentioned Nigel Thurlow. Me and Nigel were talking a couple of months ago. And he said, I reckon 2 years, maybe quicker, the whole AI thing is going to come crashing down. And we're going to get super busy when people come back and go, we need to resurrect our people capability because the AI capability failed. I think the proverbial phrase is no shit, Sherlock. My 4-year-old granddaughter could see that coming. So why can't executive boards take their head out of the sand and see this? It's staggering that this is going on and nobody's going, hang on a minute, this isn't going to go well. But we're seeing it, which keeps us in business, but it's not something that you like to say, I told you so, because it's dangerous. And I've got a great quote here from Dr. Gary Klein, who's brilliant. Absolutely love him. We've worked with him before. Yeah, he's got many great books. Founder of the Pre-Mortem, which we did in the States a few weeks ago. I've worked with Gary, done a pre-mortem with him in live. And he says, these systems don't understand. They are trained to respond. That's not the same as thinking. Judgment requires skin in the game, not digital, neural. So if your people don't have skin in the game because you've not let them or you've fired them, if you're trusting on a system that does not understand, and it doesn't, I don't care what people say, how great AI is and it's phenomenal, it's good at certain things. It doesn't have and understand nuance. It's not neural, it's digital, as he says. And none of this is the same as thinking. It just isn't. And we've done this as trials when we do organizational team training. We'll have a laptop in the room, wired up, and that'll be, we call it the 10th man.
Yeah.
Another individual, but that'll be ChatGPT. So we'll go around the room and we'll have ChatGPT play as well. And that will never, ever, ever, and hasn't to this day, come up with anything better than what the collective wisdom of the audience and the crowd have come up with, ever.
Yeah.
And I don't think it ever will when we're talking about the things we are. It then helps to refine when we put the input into it and speeds up wording and outcome. But when you're looking for that neural input, if you think that's going to come from a shiny robot walking around the office with a fancy name, you're delusional. Absolutely delusional.
It's that point you made there about you've got to understand the problem you're trying to solve. And when I go and speak to people about this in where I'm working, one of the first things I say is, do you actually need to use AI? But like, you need to ask yourself that question, because
why are you using AI?
Yeah,
just like,
what's the point?
Yeah.
I mean, I had Daniel Hume on a few weeks ago. That he set up his own AI company. He's the chief AI officer for WPP. He's got amazing companies, Consume, where they're actually looking at consciousness in AI. He's got amazing people on the board. Anno Seth, Carl Friston. I mean, these people are like at the top of the tree when it comes to understanding stuff around consciousness. And even on the podcast, he said, if it ever got to a point where it wasn't going to do what they want it to do, he would be the first person to put his hand up and say, turn it off.
Absolutely. You have to. That's what I said. Experiment, kill it. Next.
Yeah.
You have to be in that mindset of the scientist. And the whole point of an experiment is to prove something will fail. And 9 out of 10 experiments should fail, because that isn't failure. It failed. I learned something. I take that learning to the next thing to make it less likely to fail. And it's that consequential, experiential line that by the time you've gone through the experiments and learned from the failings, you come up with the right thing. Look at the inventors of the world. Look at Dyson. How many times did Dyson fail with his amazing cleaner? You know, hundreds and hundreds of patents put in fail, until you wow, bang, you hit it. Eureka moment. That's the same mindset we have to apply when we're using any tool, not just AI. Agile, Six Sigma, Lean, Platform X versus Platform Y. Don't just buy it and go, right. If you're going to go and buy a car, do you just walk into a studio and go, a showroom and go, right, I want that car. I'll buy it and drive away. No, you go, I like that. Can I take that for a test drive? No. Can I try that one? Oh, that's a bit better, but I don't like, oh, what color does it come in? You go through little experiments in your mind, go, right, could I try it with this? Could I try that? What's the cost? How many people does it fit? You go through all these things in our day-to-day lives. We just need to be far more rigorous in applying that same logic in the workplace. And as I said, it's simple. It really, when you look at it and take that step back and apply the Socratic method and the bigger picture view and take off that bloody double busy badge, Because when you're double busy, you're not thinking. You physically cannot think. Your brain is taking shortcuts neurally all the time. It's following heuristics. Biases are massively wired into your brain when you're busy. Get rid of all that noise. Again, Daniel, another great book by Daniel Kahneman, Noise. Thinking Fast and Flow, then Noise. So much freaking noise going on today.
Yeah.
You talked about double busy. Most of my clients have been, hey, Marcus, sorry I haven't got back to you. I've been so busy. Straight away, I'm like, busy doing what, Steve? Talk me through it. And it's busy bullshit. It's like, oh, I'm like, mate, you're making it up. You're going to too many meetings that you don't need to be there. You're wasting how many days writing PowerPoint wankery? I'm just like, just stop. Because all that does is create noise. And when you look at the sort of noise to signal ratio in people's brains, it's staggering what is actually going on around you. And you're allowing that. And it's not just the workplace, it's your social feed, it's your home life, it's driving to work, everything. There's noise coming in and we're not able to process that effectively.
I'm going to put a link into the session you did with the kids. Now, Marcus kindly came onto my kids' school podcast. My kids go to a normal state school.
Amazing, though.
They run a little podcast. The head teacher's a guy called Dave Samuels. I think he's a fantastic head teacher, to be honest.
He is outstanding.
The way he thinks about things. Marcus came on to talk about critical thinking. I know you are really passionate about trying to get kids in education to look at things differently.
100%. I think the whole national curriculum is outdated. It's not been fit for purpose for probably 2 decades now. And I think if we can't change the curriculum, then we can add to it and enable what are natural critical thinkers from birth. We're all born curious. We're all born mini scientists. I told my mum a couple of years, we did the 5 Whys Toyota session.
Yeah.
And mum's, oh, what have you been doing today? I said, I did the 5 Whys. It's this. She goes, 5 Whys. She goes, you were Mr. 55 Whys when you were a kid. I'm like, sorry, mum, but that natural curiosity of a child, it gets crushed. The minute you start kindergarten, go to primary, sit down, shut up, put your bag over there, hang your coat there, don't speak, put your hand up. And Dave is the antonym of all that. He is brilliant. He is like, I've got to unleash these kids. I've got to keep that curiosity at the forefront of their thinking. And no teacher wants a bloody classroom full of 30 kids challenging them, do they? I get that. So we've got to adapt. We've got to change that environment so that the teacher understands it and is capable of dealing with it and teaching it, but also these little brains that continue growing till you're 25. But if you don't nurture them at certain points, they will die. And again, look at what Dealey's been talking about. Elements of the brain will shut off and not grow if they're not allowed. Yeah. Add to that telephones, board games, through Xbox games, PlayStation, video game. All this stuff is just killing the brain of a child. So if you do what Dave's doing and allow them to have that ability to speak up, to challenge together, and watch the video, we teach them some basic, simple tools that you can take home and use yourself in the workplace, but teach your kids. I teach all mine it. It makes parenting very hard now, but I don't win many arguments anymore. But it's bloody great. All my kids are killing it in the workplace. They're having a great time and they're doing well because they're applying this kind of logical thinking and rational thought and taking the time to do it. So yeah, big fan of supporting the youth.
Well, before I ask you the last question, I want to give you opportunity, mate, to just give a shout out for yourself, where people can find you, how they can get in contact with you.
Thank you so much. As I said, Effective Direction is our company. It's not just a clever name. We are there to help you find an effective direction in your business. So effectivedirection.com. I'm on LinkedIn, Marcus Dimbleby. There is only one. I've got this weird surname and my parents gave me a weird first name. So that's great because it means I'm the only Marcus Dimbleby that I've found in the world. So easy to find on LinkedIn. I'm quite prolific on there, although I've been reduced recently because I'm not sensing it on LinkedIn anymore. It seems to be going off a cliff. And then the book, Big Things Fast, bigthingsfast.com. You can go to our website, effectivedirection.com, and download a free copy. It's there as a PDF. And our second book, The Adaptive Leader, is coming out this year as well. Again, written with Jose Carrella, who's a fantastic individual and very supportive in all we do at Effective Direction. So that's it. Look forward to engaging. Always up for good chats and podcasts with great people like yourself and the heretics that are out there that we know and love.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll put links to all that in the podcast. Mate. But the final question, mate, is the same one that I'm asking everybody that comes on here. And it's, from your perspective, what is the signal that we're failing to see?
What is a signal we are failing to see? Failing because of all the noise that's preventing the signal coming through. As we've talked about throughout, pretty much, I think it is employee disengagement that is hiding in plain sight. And even when you get your quarterly pulse survey that tells you it sucks, nothing is done. And you are quite happy that your employees are engaged at 18%, 20%, but then you're complaining that things aren't happening and you're chasing after the other shiny objects rather than focusing on the employee who's disengaged. That, to me, is what executives are missing. And if they aren't seeing it, they're not doing the right thing to fix it. And that's what we help.
That's brilliant. Awesome signal, that is. Mate, thanks ever so much for coming on, giving up your time. It's always brilliant to speak to you. And at some point, we will meet up in person.
We will. I'll let you know next time I'm over in the good old UK.
Yeah. All right, mate.
Cheers, mate. Take care.
Catch you soon. Bye, mate.